Hey everybody, it's Wahima, and this is my review of season 3, season finale of Being Mary Jane. So much happened in it, and I want to talk about it. Okay, so I know that I normally don't do reviews on Being Mary Jane, but this one and a couple of other episodes this season needed to be reviewed, and I couldn't get around with it, but I'm going to do this one. Okay, so first I want to talk about Lisa's death. I didn't talk about it because at the time when it happened, I couldn't talk about it. There was something in that episode when Mary Jane was in her boudoir talking with her friend where they were talking about suicide and mental illness in the Black community versus in the non-Black community. And I have to say that that conversation was a little upsetting to me as a sufferer of depression and as somebody who has often thought of suicide. I find that when they compare it to like the white experience versus the Black experience, or the fact that Black people most likely don't feel this way, I just get a little weird about it because I feel like it's not fair. Black people are allowed to have mental illnesses. Black people do have mental illnesses. Black people do need help with their mental illnesses. And I think that a lot of the situations that we face as a community within our families and our family structures has a lot to do with mental illness and the not acknowledging of said mental illness. Mothers abandon their children, be it emotionally or physically, because of mental illness. I often feel that when people use drugs or some sort of substance abuse to deal with whatever's going on in their life, it has something to do with some sort of psychological issue, whether they were born with it or it came upon them because of nurture. But I do think there needs to be some acknowledgement of it. We do too much not acknowledging of it, and then it festers. So what I'm talking about more specifically is, you know, if you have a parent who is depressed and or has a substance abuse problem, and they raise their kids in a manner where their depression and their substance abuse affects those kids, then those kids have kids, right? And then those kids have some sort of damage. They are not reared in the way to be a functioning, fully fledged, thinking human being. And then they have kids. So there's like, you know, now 3 generations of people who are affected, or 2 generations of people who are affected by the abuse or the issues that the grandparent had. When you're little, your brain starts to develop and you start to get shaped by the things that happen around you and the actions and the way people talk to you and what they say to you. It starts to carve little roads in your brain and determine how you think about yourself. It determines how you feel. You know, there's a lot of the psychosis with women who don't have fathers who love them, or mothers who abandon children, and what that does to that person as an adult, and then how they treat their children in return. And so I feel like there's a lot of healing that needs to happen within the Black community, and by us denying that mental illness is a part of it is denying the crux of the problem, because you can't pray that away. Lisa's situation with her stepfather, the fact that her mother basically abandoned her right in her face, like said, no, I'm choosing not to believe you. I'm choosing to believe this man, my husband, your stepfather. I'm choosing to believe him over you because I don't value you. So that's all that said to Lisa, was that she wasn't valued by the one person in the world who's supposed to value her. And then she allowed that person to stay in the same home with her. So it's like, you know, that can really damage somebody and affect them profoundly and have a lot of effect with the way they deal with women. You know, Mary Jane often talked about being exhausted with dealing with Lisa and feeling like she has to step around Lisa's feelings. And I know that must be exhausting for Lisa too. The fact that she can't control her emotions, the fact that she has to be on medication but doesn't want to be on medication in order to feel whole, like a real person, to feel loved. I mean, to not have love from a mother and to not feel that love, to feel abandoned from a mother, is a huge thing. Now, whether or not that is nurture or nature, I don't know. Whether or not that's society, because society puts a big deal on mothers, right? And so if you have a mother who doesn't live up to society's standards, you develop a psychosis behind it. So I just really felt like that whole argument that, you know, Black people don't kill themselves and whatnot, it's just, you know, they may not outright kill themselves, but they do things to each other and to themselves that are very akin to killing and detrimental and soul crushing in our communities to make up for whatever it is that they're feeling. That's all I have to say about that. I don't want to ever glaze over mental illness as though it's like not a real thing and that it's a white people thing, because Black people very much have it, and it's in our community a lot. So another issue is, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't quite understand why Mary Jane and David broke up. Like, I don't, like, in the first season, they made it seem as though, you know, they broke up because she was being a raging bitch or something, and that, you know, he was there for her, but she was emotionally shut off. And then it seemed like in the second season that he had actually done something. You know, when they were at that ball, that gala that the family had to buy like the silver table for, and the dad was like strained to buy it, but the mom really wanted the silver table or something like that. That gala where he's like, you know, Mary Jane, you didn't want me until I made money. You didn't take me seriously until I made that $1 million or whatever. And like, that's what I thought they broke up, because she wasn't down for him when he was broke, or she didn't accept his struggling, that the struggle he had, and so he broke up with her. But then come to find out that they broke up for other reasons that aren't really clear to me. And then they got back together, and then, you know, there was a situation with Lisa, and Lisa gave him head, and like, it just, I don't understand that relationship. Lisa introduced them, but she was secretly in love with David, and it was eating her up because she was secretly in love with him, and he allowed her to take care of him in his time. And like, it was just all like very, I didn't understand. So if anyone understands the relationship between Mary Jane and David, and then Lisa and how she's involved, please explain it to me, because it is so confusing. In this episode, it's also really weird that David's mom showed up. Like, I don't know what they're trying to set us up for season 4, but like, you know, it was mentioned one time that David was half white, but I never expected to see his mom. And the fact that she showed up at his house, at her house, like, you know, David really loves you, seems so contrived and weird. But, you know, if that's the story they want to lay out for us, that's the story they want to lay out for us. I also loved her foyer into the baloney pony. Personally, I think all Black women should try the baloney pony. I mean, it's trial and error, right? You got to find the right one. But I think it's so rude to call it the baloney pony too, but I think it's funny at the same time, so that's why I keep saying it. I feel like Black women, when Black women date outside their race, they get way more flack. Don't get me wrong, Black women hate Black men who date outside their race, but I think, and I could be wrong, I could be absolutely wrong, but I feel like that Black women get a lot of flack, especially from each other and from Black men, and internally for dating white men. Like, the Black women who date white men, like, they're not as comfortable with it as you might think they are. Like, they are uncomfortable unless they have been raised in an all-white community and, you know, that's their only choice. But for the most part, they're uncomfortable. Like, it's uncomfortable. I date white men, and like, do I date white men? Do I really date them? I'm trying to think if I date them. I don't know if I date them. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've been on a date. I've been on a couple dates with non-Black men. I have, and they've been fine. But it's been in New York City, where like nobody is watching you in New York City. Now, if I were to go to Brooklyn with my white boyfriend, I think that might be different. But in Manhattan, nobody's checking for you in Manhattan to see if you're with a white man. Like, it's whatever. But I wanted her to stay with him longer, but I understand why she had to break up with him, because, you know, he, not only was he white, he was Australian, and they have their own sort of racial issues that they're not dealing with when it comes to the Aborigines and what the white people of Australia did to the Aborigines. So, yeah, if I were her, I wouldn't want to have to explain it either. And it's just like, I feel like if I continue to date white men, that's going to be something that I'm going to have to one day explain, and I would just hope that he would already know. Like, I would hope he would watch all of Francesca's, like, Decoded on MTV, that he would have already read you know, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Like, I just want him to already have done the new Jim Crow. Like, I just want him to have already done all his research before we get together, so I don't have to explain anything to him. Okay, so Patrick. Patrick is so frustrating to me, but I also am somebody who doesn't understand drug abuse really. I understand it, but I don't understand it. I have a hard time with it. And I feel like if you were somebody who's addicted to cocaine and crack cocaine, why would you try anything? Even if it's a prescription. Like, if you can't handle life, then you need to find something else to do that's less stressful. And I understand that Patrick has dug himself into a hole with having kids and not being there for all of them, and wanting to be there for Deja, and then Niecy being upset about it. I understand Niecy's frustration 100%. But like, I feel like she's now living with her grandparents and she has a good situation and she needs to snap out of the poor black me situation. Like, nobody needs to buy her ass a car. She's got her first job and it's minimum wage. Like, I think Mary Jane is absolutely right. Don't praise Niecy. Niecy should have had that shit together at 16. I think PJ and Mary Jane are absolutely right when it comes to Niecy. Like, they don't need any more coddling. She already made all of the bad decisions her lifetime can afford, and she needs to get up and figure her shit out. That being said, what happened to her at the end of the episode was crazy. Again, I don't know if this has to do with the fact that I don't believe the writing or because I'm scared as a black woman, but like, a lot of the situation that she was in with a cop, I was like, I just don't want that to happen to me. So I don't know that I would like fight like that. And that makes me a coward perhaps. But I don't know anyone who would fight like that. I don't know any white woman who would be like, no, I'm driving off now. I thought that was a little contrived. I thought they should have made it more something. I thought they should have I thought she should have given her ID and her driver's license and proof of insurance or something, so at least she could say she adhered, and then when he was being unreasonable, she behaved that way. Don't get me wrong, he was being unreasonable by pulling her over because her music was too loud, but to think that she was just gonna drive away, that was weird to me. Like, you weren't gonna drive away, ma'am. Like, that's not the way it works in any scenario. I don't care if you're in Beverly Hills or you're in South Central. Like, a cop pulls you over, you can't refuse to give your license and drive away. Like, the cop was wrong, definitely. And like, if she were white, he definitely wouldn't have pulled her out of the car like that. He definitely wouldn't have tased her. But like, also, Niecy, just show your license. Like, and then if it escalated from there, it escalated from there. Not to say that she's blamed for what happened afterwards, but I do think like she should have showed her license. So there's my opinion on that. And Niecy. Okay, so Cara, let's talk about that. I really love everything about Cara's storyline. Like, I think that adding her like Latina perspective and her, I think she's fierce. I think she's fierce as fuck. Like, I love Cara. But Marisol, like, going to HR, like, to me, going to HR is like, I don't, like, unless somebody is like sexually harassing you, like 1950s Mad Men, like, going to HR is bullshit. That's like tattletelling. Like, I get why HR is there, and it's there for situations like sexual harassment and being uncomfortable, or harassment in general in the workplace. But like, because she accuses you of sleeping with the boss, like, it's not like Cara went out of her way and told everybody that Marisol was sleeping with the boss. And then even like, it's not even that it needed to go to HR. Like, handle it like a woman, just like Cara said. Come talk to me face to face. Like, bitch, you're not gonna tell me I'm sleeping with Greg. Like, you need to chill. Like, you're not gonna come up here, make me feel bad or look bad at my job because you're upset. And I feel like Cara was throwing a little salt. Cara was being a little shady. She saw another Latina up in there and she was like, no, bitch, this is my space. I think CNN might need a Latina, but like, don't worry, I'm holding it down over here. I'm good. You can go somewhere else. Like, I get that Cara felt that way a little bit, but like, for Marisol to go to HR was like breaking all of the, like, you know, I don't know if they have it in the Hispanic Latino community, but like, you can't be telling on other black people. Like, you got to go to them head on. If I have a problem with another black person at my job, I go at them head on. The only reason I would with black people is because I feel like I could get them to understand where I'm coming from. Whereas if they were somebody white, I might go to HR because I don't want them to think that I'm yelling at them or being angry with them. Because, you know, that could easily turn. If I go and talk to my like docile white coworker and I say what I have to say and she feels threatened by me and goes to HR, then I'm gonna get in trouble. So I'm gonna supersede that and I'm just gonna go to HR and telling her ass the way she would do for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna be telling on people of color because it's just gonna escalate to a place where it doesn't need to go. And that's exactly what happened. So now Cara has Barbara with the laid platinum blonde hair coming. I was like, go Barbara. Hey, Miss Actress, like get those rolls with that hair, girl. Get it. Her hair was laid. She came in and was like, girl, we need, you know, you can't talk to Marisol anymore. After she had already given Marisol the anchor position. Cara needs to get her homies, come down and scare the shit. Like, Marisol needs to go. She's a rata and she needs to go. I don't care. I'm over her. Because I felt sorry for her in the interim. I felt sorry for her after Cara yelled at her. Now I don't feel sorry for her. Can't be telling people. Oh, that moment when David walked by in the barbecue, like that slow motion. That got me right here, guys. That got me right. I'm still feeling that. You ever had those moments where you're like out in public and you see somebody you used to love and you're like, oh, Jesus. like you just, I felt that. That slow motion that they did was not enough. They needed to have, I would have felt that 3 days later. I would have been, the next shot should have been them eating barbecue. And then the shot after that should have been Mary Jane, like just looking out the window, like holding his baby. I remember the moment where somebody I loved told me that they were having a baby. I remember just like feeling like I had nothing below the stomach, like just the wind, everything was knocked out of me. And I like paused for like a full 30 seconds before I responded. So like, well, crazy. Okay, CeCe, now let's talk about this bitch. That bitch needed to get arrested. The moment she came to extort money from Mary Jane after she already got $90,000 from SNC, no, I hated her from then. I don't care how much knowledge she was dropping. I don't care about her little bookstore. I don't care about any of that. She took $25,000 from Mary Jane, extorted $25,000 from Mary Jane, and then was all up in her face still. I would have called the police on CeCe. That I would have said after I handed that last $5,000, like, bitch, if I ever see you again, I'm calling the police and letting them know what you did. I don't care what happens. Like, CeCe took it too far. CeCe took it way too far, just too far. And I was just like, I don't understand the purpose of this character. I don't understand why she is here. Okay, so that's all I had to say about Being Mary Jane. Did you watch it? Did you love it? What didn't you like? What did you like? I mean, I know there was just so much more to talk about, but I can't talk about it because I didn't write it down and I don't remember. But I'm going to really try to be on season 4, okay? So I'm going to try to update and keep you guys aware with what I watch on season 4. And if I watch any television, I want to, you know, do reviews for you guys so you guys can, like, you know, care if you care or not. Okay, so that's it for the review of the season 3 finale of Being Mary Jane. My name is Wahima. Oh, yo, okay, you guys ever notice how Niecy, her makeup is always like on point. Like Niecy is always beat to the gods. And I'm always like, every single time I see her, she's beat to the gods. And I don't know if they want to do that to like, let us know she knows how to do makeup or to keep herself together. But sure, like when she got arrested, that eyeshadow was schmazing, okay? All of Mary Jane Paul's outfits are on point. I can't believe I totally forgot. I love the way this show is styled. I love how beautiful Mary Jane's home is. I love the way Cara dresses. I think everyone is so sexy and feminine. And I just love the way they dress everyone. I think their makeup is on point. All of it. When she bought that $30,000 Birkin bag, though, when she bought that with her money, I was like, no. Never in my retail life. I've worked in retail for 13 years and never in my life would I buy a Birkin bag at full price. Never in my life. Nope. It would need to be gifted to me. I'm not paying it for, no. When she bought that Birkin bag, it hurt me. It came up from the side of my back of my lung and came up to the front to my, right here in my esophagus. That's how much it hurt me. I felt a shearing pain shoot from back here to up here. I was like, no. I don't know who told you to buy that bag, but they were wrong. Nope. That car she bought too was hot, but like, whew, the debt, man. All I kept thinking about is, that girl must be in debt. But she's in Atlanta. I know the cost of living is cheaper there. So she might not pay as much as she would if she were living in LA, you know what I'm saying? Or New York City, you feel me? And PJ, I really hope that he doesn't get caught up in any schemes. I hope he gets his money and runs. I really, really hope, because I don't think the parents can handle another like fucking situation with their kids. Like Patrick can be the only fuck up. Like there's always one, right? Patrick is it. They don't need anything else. You know what I'm saying? Suge Avery doesn't need it. And that man who looks like Louis Gossett Jr., the dad don't need it. Like, ugh. Girl, don't you just love Margaret Avery? Don't you just feel like she is like always looking ethereal? She wasn't in this episode. I wonder what happened. She wasn't in it at all. That's crazy. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.